Well, hello again, and hello to you, and hello to you,
And to you.
and hello to everybody. Thanks for being with us. We had kind of a special outing
Hmm.
recently, and it was a real departure for Opposite Saxes because Opposite Saxes was invited to be guests of an organization
Hmm.
that some people follow us and they said, "Hey, would you like to be the guest speakers at our next luncheon?" And we thought, sure. And then after we said sure and hung up, we said, what are we going to talk about?
It
It,
ended up to be a fabulous get
yes,
together and
standing room only,
it
too.
it almost was.
We were a hit.
Uh yeah, I can't figure that out either. Um
Us.
yeah, but it was men and women combined. I thought it was really going to only be the women, but a lot of spouses came
Yeah.
and
It was a great get together, and it was just kind of free form. We don't do PowerPoint and all that kind of stuff, so it wasn't a slide presentation and all. We just kind of gave a little background of how opposite sexes came in
right.
to view, and then we did something kind of special. What we did was we did a few mock shows.
Mhm.
We just came up with some ideas that were given by the people that were in attendance. They threw out an idea, and
We ran.
we ran with it like we do with these shows. We just said hello, welcome to Opposite Sexes, and we talked and I think everybody had a good time, especially I did.
Yeah, I did too. It was I, sometimes I'm not so thrilled with extemporaneous things, like that, but it really worked out well. And one of the questions that we got from the audience had to do with your your grandson, your grandchildren,
Parenting and
parenting
grandparenting.
grandchildren. And how do you react? How do you get along with the daughter-in-law, the daughter, the son, son-in-law, when
Well,
it comes to parenting the grandchild when he's in your
and
company?
it was interesting because through a program at the local college here, we attended a class that was led by a wonderful professional woman who told us about what are the boundaries that grandparents should have in the relationship with their children and grandchildren.
Hmm.
And that I think helped get us through because I,
Yeah,
th
it
I think
did.
I might have been a little tongue-tied and stumbled, but we realized that in the old days, grandparents would tell the grandkids what to do and even tell their kids how to raise their kids,
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
grandkids. But in today's
It's a
society,
bit different.
you got parameters and restrictions, and if you go around the back of your kids
Hmm.
to tell your grandkids how to do something, and it comes back to you, it could severely limit your exposure to your grandkids.
So, in other words, keep your mouth shut.
That that was
Is basically
that
it.
was basically it, and we shared that with the audience. And what was interesting, because we're doing this in front of a camera now, so we don't know what your reaction is, although most of the times we can guess. But when we talked about these parameters and to tread lightly with your grandkids, and all, it was like a bobblehead convention. Everybody in the room was going, yeah, yeah, we know exactly what you're
I
talking
don't
about.
think they wanted to hear that answer, but they
No.
knew it was the only answer.
And they've heard that answer
Yeah,
before.
yeah, yeah. But then it was so we did talk a lot, and what really amazed me were the questions that they asked us or you
Yeah.
when it came to how do you do a podcast? What is a podcast? That was, I mean,
And I
you just take it for granted that people know.
and I started off by saying, when you turn on the news in the evening, you're listening to a broadcast, okay? And the broadcaster opens up the program, and then they give a story, and then they usually have a guest come on set to discuss the story. I said, now, so you all watch the news and you see this on a regular basis. That a podcast is basically a mini
Right.
broadcast. And also the fact that what we do is generic for a broad audience. And again, we appreciate it. But there are literally hundreds of thousands of podcasts that are out there, and many, many of them are very specific. For instance, if you are interested in financial security, you can go to a podcast where week after week after week they talk to you about managing your portfolios. And so you can find a podcast that's specific to a certain
Right.
area.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, that's what they were talking about is how do you find them? Well, we talked about the various platforms,
Hmm.
Spotify and YouTube and
And what do you
and
need
Facebook.
to a podcast?
Yeah. And, a lot of them thought you have to have a studio with
Right.
recording equipment
Yeah.
and all. And we told them how we do it, that we rely on a producer, our good dear friend Christine Dean, who we love to death, who is the producer of this program. It leaves us the freedom to record our show, and they'll then turn it over to her for any editing or
Right.
for producing. We encourage people, if you want to do it. But number one, have a plan of what you want to accomplish with your podcast. How often do you want to do it? Do you want to do it monthly? Do you want to do it bi-monthly,
Hmm.
weekly,
Hmm.
and all? And one of the big questions was how long?
Yeah.
And we
You're right.
talked about that, and we said that usually 10 to 20 minutes should be that
Right.
sweet spot. Uh, my one show, someone you should know that I do, it generally runs about 40 minutes, but it's a more in-depth
Yeah, that's
conversation between two people.
right.
But when we pick out a subject like we're talking about today, we'll generally run around that 10 to 15 or 20 minute area because
Hmm.
that's a good attention span for
Yeah.
people. And also that allows them the opportunity to sit down at their leisure if they want to follow a show, any kind of a show. Uh, and that's about the right amount of time. Otherwise, you almost get to that boring
Correct. Correct.
threshold.
Correct. Correct.
And even this can be true of what I just said about if it's a financial podcast. If a financial podcast goes on for an hour, hour and a half, you're going to lose people.
Yeah, because it's a dry subject as
I
it
mean,
is,
it
but
then becomes a webinar, if
yeah,
you will,
a class.
yeah. Uh, but it's better that you should do a good solid 15 to 20 minute uh, podcast on the subject and come back next week and do another 15 or
Hmm.
20
Hmm.
minutes
Hmm.
than to try and do an hour at a time. Uh,
Yeah, it it was very interesting to do. It really was.
and it
We
was so unusual to be in a room full of people that I didn't have any doubt that we would be able to interact with
right.
them. Uh, but it was a little bit out of our element because right now we're just talking to you and there's nothing between us but a screen and a microphone. But here was a room full of people that, as we're speaking, you'd see a hand go up, and we'd call on them and they'd say, well, how long have you been doing this? Well, we
Yeah.
we
Hmm. Told
related
them.
to that.
Yeah.
And, it was interesting when we said that we've been doing this show for 5 years. They think, wow, 5 years is a long time, but multiply that times every week.
Every
That's
show.
250 episodes that we have done. And we then opened up the book and we told them about some of the things that we've talked about.
Yeah, we went down the list.
Some are serious, some were just downright fun. Some were, we talked about the this or that,
Yeah.
or would you
Would you
rather?
rather?
And those are, challenge, uh, you know, type subjects.
But what was interesting to me is that you said, don't just do it for a couple months and then give it all away, throw it away. It's
Exactly.
something that you have to do on a regular basis for an extended period of time.
Yeah, if you say I want to do a podcast and you start doing it, and after 6 months you say, well, I'm not getting that big of a following,
It
or
takes,
I'm running a dry on subjects to talk about, that's something you should pre-plan because if you want to really be effective
right.
in your discussions with your followers and everything, you got to be consistent. Let them determine if they miss three or
Mhm.
four shows, they want to go back and catch up on it at a later date. But just to be consistent and if you get into it for the long
The long
long
haul.
run.
It's like running a business.
Well, and it's also like broadcasting.
Hmm.
Now, every once in a while, and we've all seen it lately,
Hmm.
all of a sudden the anchors to a lot of broadcast shows are changing. And you say, oh, well, I'm going to really miss so and so.
Hmm.
Well, they've done the show for 3, 4, 5 years. The show continues with a new
New
face.
face, yeah.
And
So
sometimes that's
this,
good, and sometimes
that's hard to get used to.
and sometimes the networks will say, I think maybe we made a mistake,
Yeah.
that the ratings are not as good for this person as it
Yeah.
was for the last person.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But
No, I would do it again. Would you do it again in front of an
oh,
audience? I would in a heartbeat.
I would do it again, yeah, and either a similar audience or a completely different audience. I
Hmm.
would I would love. I'll tell you who I would love to reach out to, and that would be to a group of youngsters. Either it could be even elementary age to just talk. They all know what podcasting is because they all watch it on their iPads and their computers. But to see real live people that are doing it might be interesting.
What would you talk to them about?
What I would do the same thing. I would ask them what give us a subject. Name a place you like to go
Hmm.
and all. And if they say, I like to go to the aquarium, good, then we'll do
A
a
podcast.
show
Yeah.
about visiting the aquarium. But then maybe meet with some high school or college students
Hmm.
that maybe are thinking of going into broadcasting
Hmm.
or the media,
Hmm.
and let them have a little taste of what somebody who, well, in my case, I had a little bit of
You
experience
had an
and
edge.
that was what I studied and all. But the podcasting part of it was something that I just started to develop, and then we developed our show together.
It used to be high schools had radio stations in our day.
Colleges had radio
And I
stations.
don't think because radio is not such a big thing, I would think there would be more podcasting because of the streaming evolution.
Well, and that's how my original show started. It started in a
Yeah,
radio
right.
station, and my guests were in the studio live when we did it. It was recorded for later
Hmm.
viewing. But then all of a sudden, and it seemed like COVID was kind of the
It
turning
was.
point. The cameras came into the radio stations,
Yes.
and they started video
Hmm.
broadcasting along with speech, which I never really felt comfortable with because I always
Okay.
liked the voice aspect of what radio was. But we live in a visual audio
We
society
went
now,
on Facebook. I'll never forget the time that they said we're going to do it video and we'll be on Facebook.
and all
Wow.
of a sudden,
Wow.
and
Now I have to get dressed.
and
Now I
at the
have,
time I had a co host
yes.
for one of my shows. And when we were doing our show from the studio, she used to come directly from the health club. And I mean, she was wearing a sweatshirt and she was sweating and her hair was all disheveled and pulled back into a ponytail. And all of a sudden we decided we're going video.
Yeah.
Well,
That
now
changed.
she had to go early because she had to get herself all prepared to not only do the show, but to do it in front of a
That
camera.
makes a difference.
Yeah, and even you
Hmm.
prep a
Yeah.
little bit, and are my
Right.
earrings okay?
You're right.
The-
Right. A little bit of lipstick.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, but uh,
Yeah.
but podcasting is fun, and it was really a great departure to be able to do it in front of a live audience. And what I think I enjoyed most was that somebody thought to reach out to us and say, "We really enjoy what you were doing, and we'd like to share it with our
Yeah, we were
luncheon.
very touched. I told them we were very touched.
It was really
They
very
asked.
nice. So that's an open invitation to you if you have a group and you're looking for a different and unusual.
And you're near the Dallas area.
Yeah, yeah, in the North Texas area, and we work cheap, uh, and we did the show for no money, but they did
But
serve some really nice snacks
yeah, oh, they did.
that
Oh, yeah.
we partook of.
Oh, yes.
But anyway, I hope you enjoyed our rambling about our special invite
Yeah, it was
and
good.
all, and we hope you'll reach out and join us again next week, same time on Thursdays. We
One
launch
o'clock.
at 1 o'clock in
We'll
the
be here.
afternoon. Right? Go out and make it a good one.
Bye.
Bye.